What's up, everybody? Welcome to the weekly drive. And we're off. Okay, so today on the weekly drive, we're going to be talking about why you should not trust the mirror. But before we dive into that, let's talk about a couple updates. For one, is anyone else aware of the fact that Jack Link's now makes bites? Like, for anybody that's watching on YouTube right now, these things. Okay, for anybody who is not a beef jerky connoisseur, okay, the bites, like the tender bites and anything else that Jack Link's makes, is insanely juicy compared to their normal. Okay. Sorry, guys. We all know yields are not a real thing. Anyway, Jack Link's, okay, that anytime they make anything in bite form, it's juicier and it's better than the actual like dry jerky that we all kind of just settle for when we're at like a rest stop or something like that. So these did not disappoint. Okay, just had a couple before. Now to make sure I'm not full of it. Okay, let's see. Yep, I'm not wrong. They're good. That along with a good old white monster, killer combination. That's how you know it's going to be a good podcast. Jack Link's and Monster. So now that we got that out of the way, bit of an update as far as the fat loss blueprint I told everybody about in the last podcast. All the clients that are on it right now are doing awesome. I just want to give them a huge shout out and say keep killing it. If you're listening right now, just keep it going. All of you are doing incredible. Seriously, every single one. And actually, a conversation from one of those fat loss blueprint clients is what sparked the topic of today's conversation, which is don't trust the mirror. Because one of the clients that I took on, her name is Jillian. She, by the way, has an awesome TikTok. If you want like pretty much a journey and what it takes and what you go through as far as like beginning to like where you finally start seeing progress, like Jillian is now, go check out her TikTok. Jillian, I think it's Jillian_Burke. I'll put it in the show notes, but her stuff is incredible as far as like mentality and workouts and everything. And it's an absolute pleasure to start working with her. Really couldn't be more happy on my end. But anyway, she asked me on the phone about like how, like when you look in the mirror, it doesn't feel like you're making a whole lot of progress. And I'm like, I totally get it. I've been there. Like it sucks because the mirror lies. When we're looking at the mirror, there's nothing to concretely say like you're making progress. As much as we think there is, there isn't, because our brains are constantly tricking us into seeing what we want to see. And more times than not, we expect to see things that are not exactly a great image of ourselves. All right, case in point, I don't think I've ever mentioned anything about my story on the podcast yet, so what better time than now? I'll start from the fact that when I was very little, like preteen, teenage years, I was fat. I was chubby. I did not like how I looked, and I've always been that chubby kid. Oh, my brother was always built like a twig. I got all the big genes, okay, which now kind of like having that because being able to put on weight is really nice when you're trying to put on muscle, and he kind of struggles putting muscle on. But anyway, as a kid, not ideal because you don't know how to eat correctly. You don't know how to exercise correctly. You're kind of just stuck with what God gave you. So didn't grow up with a great body image. Then I learned stuff along the way through high school, college, and then college is over. I'm doing the typical, like still drinking and going out like I'm in college, still hanging out with my friends like till the ass crack of dawn, and just eating like crap, getting workouts in Like, that's one problem I never had, was getting workouts in, but just the nutrition was not on point. So I ballooned up. So we're at this local bar, the Dive. For anybody that doesn't know, I grew up in Cranford, New Jersey. Yeah, they have an awesome bar called the Dive. It's actually, like, I think it was rated like one of the top ones in New Jersey. Okay, it's like this little like hole in the wall place, but I go there on occasion. Every time I go with friends, like, regardless, it's always like a high school reunion. It's that local bar that, like, every time you go there, you see somebody from high school, and you're like, weighing the options if you want to do that for the night or not. Anyway, I go in, and it was packed that night, and I probably was surrounded by maybe like 20, 30 people that I had gone to school with. Some of them I've been going to school with since I was in like elementary school, and everybody's drinking around, and I'm just doing like a full 360 view. And in my head, I'm just like, man, like 50% of the people in here like look good, they look average, and then the other 50% really let themselves go. And then I get home and I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh crap, I'm in the bad 50%. And I'm like, oh shit, I gotta change that. So I do my thing. I lose the weight that I want to. Like, I signed up to do a bodybuilding show because it was great incentive to get to what I wanted. I just wanted abs for the first time, like visible abs. Did that, got pretty damn low in body fat percentage. I looked in the mirror, and on show day, my absolute best, like, and I looked in the mirror, and I still was like, I could be better. I could still lose a little bit here. And yes, during that process, like, I lost like 40 pounds. So there were noticeable changes. Like, in the mirror, you're going to notice 40 pounds. But along the way, I didn't notice a damn thing. Okay. You see yourself in the mirror every single day. You're not going to be like, Monday is like, oh, I don't look that great. Tuesday, damn, I'm shredded. Okay, it doesn't work like that. Okay. Unless you have a very good ability to celebrate little wins, then it's not going to happen. But anyway, I'm like, all right, wasn't happy with that. Then second go, I hire a coach. Yeah, I hire 3DMJ. For anybody that's aware of their stuff, they're awesome, evidence-based approach. I'm like, these are the guys that I should be listening to, I should be hiring, and I will get the best results possible, which I did. Okay, I worked with a guy, Brad Loomis, great physique coach, and still, like, sends, like, he's been a great help, even past the point of me paying them. He has sent me resources and stuff, and been a really awesome coach past that point. Anyway, I was working with Brad, and we're doing these check-ins, and I'm sending pictures and stuff, and basically all's going according to plan. Okay, I look at these pictures after the fact, and I was like, damn, what I'd give to go back to that. And then again, show day comes. I'm looking in the mirror, and I'm texting Coach Brad, like, how do I look? I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to do. And now I have that picture saved, and I'm like, if I were standing right now, if I was able to stand next to myself, judging myself in the mirror at 6% body fat, thinking I'm not lean enough, I would smack myself in the face. I mean, no matter how lean you get, and that's a legitimate 6% body fat. Like, it's kind of tough getting accurate, reliable readings when it comes to body fat, whether it be calipers or impedance, electrical impedance testing, or DEXA scan. Like, they're all over the map, but it was in the ballpark. So I was using an electrical impedance scanner, the in bodies that you see at like Retro Fitness and at the gym I work at. Like, pretty legit piece of equipment. It's not perfect, but in the ballpark. So I was in the ballpark of 6% body fat. Okay, for anyone that's not familiar what that looks like, so what you see on the muscle mags is like the jacked, juiced bodybuilder types are like 3%, and that's on show day. what you see on most like muscle and fitness, or not muscle and fitness, but like men's health, and like when you see like the actors who have the abs, or like anybody who has like a visible pair of abs, but there's not like veins out from the abs, that person. So I was at that level. There's just going to trick yourself. Your brain is going to mess with you no matter how lean you are. So that being said, do not rely on the mirror as a gauge of progress. Okay, but what's my train of thought there? Sorry, I was going past the truck and completely lost it. This guy's up my butt. I don't know if you guys can see that on the camera. Okay, but anyway, that's a case for not trusting the mirror. So the question is, what the hell should you do? What you should do is rely on consistent, reliable measurements that are going to go down over time, that are concrete numbers. Okay, it's hard to look at your body and put like a score, but you can take tape measurements. Okay, when I work with clients online, I always have them do the 3 spots around the belly button, around the bicep, and around the thigh. And that it really comes in handy not only with like helping you, like when you look in the mirror and like you look at the measurements after a month or two and you're like, okay, I'm doing good, even though I don't feel good about myself looking in the mirror. Yes, it helps there, but it also helps if the scale is improving. Because another thing you can do that is reliable is weigh yourself. Okay, preferably daily, because the less frequently you weigh yourself, the more subject you are to weird weigh-ins. Because there's legitimately like, I have a sheet that I sent clients. There's like 11 things I've come up with so far that are reasons that you could have a bad weigh-in. So the more like on the scale part, like when you do the weigh-ins, the more data points you have, the better. Yeah, so in the first month, 2 months, that weight might not change. So now not only are you looking in the mirror not seeing anything, you're popping on the scale and nothing's moving. What does everybody think? What the hell am I doing? It's not working. It's not working. But tape measurements. Go back to the measurements. I literally had, what was it, last month, somebody, now I'll say his name, Randy, you're awesome. Okay, this guy Randy, his weight hasn't budged, but he just went down a t-shirt size. Okay, he's kicking ass and staying super active, getting stronger, losing inches, but the scale really hasn't done too much, and that's normal. So again, another case for tape measurements, because when you're not seeing the progress that you want to see on the scale or in the mirror, it's easy to quit. Even when you're probably doing everything right, you're probably right on track. But again, hello bikers. Go figure. It's like the first nice day in Jersey in a while, and everybody's on a bike. Everybody. Want to wait for the podcast? But those are the tangible things that you can look at and gauge progress. Now, one thing that you can also focus on that is a point that should be celebrated is your energy levels. So if you're eating good, getting a good amount of workouts in, your energy is probably going to go through the roof. And when you pair in good sleep with that, it should be like you are now the Energizer Bunny. So just that increase, like from the day you started until now, if your energy is up, like that's something to be proud of. That's something to be excited about. And that doesn't mean that you're not making progress. That's not like if you don't see the scale moving, if you don't see it in the mirror and you feel amazing, go by that. Because what's going to keep you consistent? What's going to make it easier to sustain this lifestyle is celebrating the stuff that is, in a lot of people's eyes, it's insignificant, but it isn't. Energy levels, like losing half a pound, maybe a pound a week, like that stuff is a gigantic success and should be celebrated. Not only like hopefully other people notice and give you a thumbs up and say great job, but pat yourself on the back. Like having a positive self-talk is one of the most important things when it comes to fat loss. You need a voice inside of your head that says you're doing great, you're doing amazing. Okay? And if your mind isn't right, and not that it's not right, but if your mind isn't in a good place and you're very negative about it, then put somebody else's voice in your head. Throw a pair of headphones on and put on some Eric Thomas, the motivational speaker, or David Goggins, or Greg Plitt. For those of you that have been in the fitness, like paying attention to the fitness industry for a long time, Greg Plitt, RIP, but he is one of the most motivational guys that I've ever listened to, and his words honestly helped me a ton when it came to losing the weight for the bodybuilding shows and just like being a good person in general. Or if there's any women motivational speakers that I'm just not aware of, throw them in your ear. Like, whatever does the job, whatever keeps you in a good mindset is going to lead to good habits. It's going to lead to sustained success. And you're going to look back 3, 4, 5 months from now and be like, damn, I look good. Okay. Take a couple of progress pictures to start your journey. Keep all this stuff in mind and look back on it and be proud. Okay? Because you deserve to be proud of putting in hard ass work, eating stuff that you know you'd rather be eating a pizza, you'd rather be eating ice cream, but you are seeing it through and doing what you got to do and staying positive. Okay. Be proud of yourself, celebrate it. Now, that's all I got for this week. I hope you guys have an amazing next week. If can't forget this, okay? If anybody listening wants to get in on that fat loss blueprint that I talked about earlier, okay? Because you are a podcast listener, you get a free month. So if you want to take advantage of that, go to the Coach Fitzz website, coachfitzz.com, and hit the work with me. Okay, that'll be in the show notes, so you don't even have to do anything. Just click it in the show notes. Tell me that you heard about it on the podcast, and let's get started. Okay, again, have an amazing week. I will see you guys next time.